Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to new session. In the previous one, we have learned about the formal sector of credit and informal sector of credit. We have seen the differences among both, right? And conclusion, we can say that as a conclusion that formal sector of credit is the better source for the borrowers, right? Now let's talk about formal sector and informal sectors of credit with some more detail, with some statistics, with some data. So look at the chart. Chart is showing sources of credit per rupees 1000 of rural household in India in 2012. So rupees 1000, average 1000 borrowed by the rural household in India 2012. So this chart is showing share of various sources. Highest source is money lender. Money lender, we know money lender from the informal sector of credit. Then after cooperative societies and banks 25%, commercial banks those are also 25%. So about 50% of formal sectors. As well as informal sector, there are two more included here from government, which is 1% only, and other institutional agencies 5%, financial institutional agencies, right? So here you can see that indicated by like reddish color and green. Mentioned over there cooperative societies oblique banks and commercial banks. Let me elaborate you difference between them. About cooperative societies we have seen earlier. Right, cooperative societies means on the basis of cooperation, and in the most cases those people those similar occupation they establish such kind of societies. Such societies means organization, legal organization. Those are cooperative societies. More similar cooperative banks. In many cases, traders of a village or a town or a city, they sometimes together set up an organization, a union, and they decide to set up a bank. Like normal bank, they set up cooperative bank. So in cooperative bank, those who have their deposits, those who are the founding members, those who are shareholders, those people have generally more privileges than other. They can get loan easily, right? So those things about cooperative banks, right? So cooperative societies and cooperative banks, and those banks generally they run for the cooperative purpose. For main intents of those banks to provide financial services to the members, and those who are actually not members of the cooperative bank, they can open their account in cooperative bank. They can take advantages of the services of cooperative bank. But of course, those who are shareholders, they have more privileges than other. Alright, so this is about the cooperative banks. Alright, commercial banks. Generally the word we refer banks, so that word we refer for the commercial bank in the general cases. Like for an example, we can say that the State Bank of India, HDFC Bank, ICICI Bank, Axis Bank, right? And Federal Bank, the Bank of Baroda. So those banks are actually commercial bank. Commercial bank. So to intents of those banks to earn maximum profit by providing the services. Alright. So here commercial banks and cooperative banks. Those things for your information, which is mandatory to you, mandatory information that you have. Now, more other than Formal sector, informal sectors, we have counted the highest share of informal sector of money lenders, local money lenders. Then landlord 1%, people take loan, people borrow money from their friends and relatives. So that counts in 8%. More other non-institutional agencies which are under informal sectors. That share of those institutional agencies 2% and friends and relatives share total 8%. So here if I count 51% share, so lump sum we can count that half percent of formal sector and half percent of informal sector. So poor household, sorry, rural household in India, they borrow loan at their main sources formal and informal 50-50. Alright. Now let's see that formal and informal sector in detail. That let's talk about the urban area. So here there is one more graph is given. So in urban area, it shows the formal and informal sources of credit of people of urban area, and that also from poor to rich. Divided into 4 categories: poor household, household with few assets, means not too poor but kind of poor, not rich, not well off. Those are second. Third one, well off household, upper middle class generally we refer them, middle class or upper middle class, well off. And last one, rich household. Now let's see the pattern of them. So you can see that in the graph, 85% of their total loans taken from here informal sector. 2 colors are given. First that is purple color, and second that bluish color like violet. So that bluish color indicates informal sector and the purple one indicates the formal sector. So in the first graph you can see that 85% of formal sector and 15% of formal sector. So even in urban area, those poor households still depend on informal sectors of credit. Why? I'll tell you soon. Next, household with few assets. 53%, so more than half, they still depend on informal sector, and about half, that means 47%, they depend on formal sector. Next, well-off household. Now, picture is getting changed. 72% of their credit they arrange from formal sector and only 28% from informal sector. So, benefit to them. Next, about rich household. Only 10% they manage from informal sector and 90% of their credit needs they arrange from the formal sector of credit. Here there is a huge contrast that you can see there. Poor people, those who are actually in need of credit for various purposes, like for investment in their business, for their emergency need, for their social occasion, for education, and for many other purposes, for medical purposes, and for many other purposes, those people actually are in need for loan. But unfortunately, formal sector of credit unable to provide them loan. And those who are actually not in need, yes, they are in need for business purpose and for other purpose. To buy some luxurious thing, they prefer to take loan. Who I am talking about? Those rich people and well-off people. And those people are able to get loan easily, right? So here similar pattern we have observed in the rural area, where rich households are availing cheap and affordable loan easily within a few seconds. And those poor farmers, if I am talking about in rural area, or if poor people in urban area, those who are really need but those people are not able to get credit from the formal sector, and so the only way they have to fulfill their need, so they approach to the informal sector of credit, where even higher rates of interest, harsh terms of credit, but still they have to borrow the money, borrow for their needs from the informal sector of credit. Here, let me elaborate you more about this. Why those people are not able to get loan? Because banks do not create credit in thin air. Thin air means where risks are there. So here, when we discussed earlier that how do they create credit, means the banks collect deposits from the people, right? And some portion of the deposits they keep as their daily cash needs for day-to-day transactions, and remaining cash deposits they lend to the people those who are in need. Means they make those they convert those deposits into the loan, into the credit. That is what I call that banks create credit. But one more thing I added, that banks do not create credit in thin air. Let me elaborate you about it. So here thin air is like a metaphor here, risk. So banks are ready to give loan. For an example, just I'm giving a live example of myself. For an example, I'm in need of loan. Just an example. So 5-10 minutes are enough to get loan for myself. I just need to log in to my bank account through internet banking, right? Just a few clicks, accept terms and conditions, all arrange the amount, mode of repayment, right? Tenor, etc. Accept the terms and conditions, right? Banks have my documents, so I don't need to even submit the document. That's all. Within 10 seconds, the money will be in my account. So even I am not from the rich, just well off we can say that. So easy for us. Because I am salaried person. Bank knows that I am salaried person, my income is fixed. I earn fair enough, as well as my account is well maintained. So the bank doesn't see any risk to giving me loan. But let's talk about the similar thing for a poor person in urban area or for the farmer in rural area. So poor person in urban area, they like casual workers, somehow they manage in the city and earn. Their income is not adequate. Their account doesn't have much balance, not maintained. Transactions are not healthier. Similar case of the farmer, right? But actually those people are in need of money. They need badly, right? But bank here sees that this is the farmer, his income is not fixed. If crops fail, then he will not able to repay the loan. Those are the risks. Similar for the poor person in urban area, casual workers, what if unable to get job, and so those are the risks. So banks here don't want to take risk. So here generally poor people, those who are really in various need, they are not able to get loan from the formal sector. They have to approach to the informal sector. So what does all suggest? Two charts we have seen, two cases, rural and urban. So first, the formal sector still in rural area meets about 50% of people's need. In rural area includes both poor and rich people. And the remaining credit needs demand from the informal sectors of credit. Most loan from the informal lenders, as we know about informal lenders, local money lenders, they carry a very high interest rate. And those very high interest rate, as we have discussed earlier, difficult to repay. Thus, it is necessary that banks and cooperatives increase their lending, particularly in the rural areas, so that the dependence on informal sources of credit reduces. So, Why they take loan from the informal sectors? A very simple reason, just we discussed. Because those people are not able to get from the formal sectors. So here, rural banks, commercial banks, cooperative banks can play important role by providing them their need of credit, especially in the rural area. Second thing, while formal sector needs to expand, it is also necessary that everyone receives the loan, which we have seen in the second point today, second topic today, right? Or in case of urban area, similar situation in rural area as well. So here, those people who are rich, well off, those people are able to get loan easily. So actually, banks have to change their strategy so they can provide loan to the poor people as well. At present, it is the richer household who receive formal credit, whereas the poor have to depend on the informal sources. Obviously, they are not able to get loan from the formal sector, so those people have to depend on informal sector. So here it is important that the formal credit is distributed more equally so that the poor can benefit of the cheaper loan, because earlier we have seen that cheaper and affordable credit is crucial for the development of the country. So here we have seen in this last two videos, including this and the previous one, about the sector of credit and informal sector of credit. We have seen the differences between them, and we have seen that why the formal sector of credit is better than other informal sectors of credit. Advantages we have seen. Advantages of formal sector and disadvantages of informal sectors. That we counted in differences. More, credit at reasonable rates be available to all, that is necessary. Why? That also we have seen. So here we have seen that about various sources of credit, and the last topic is left is about self-help groups for the poor. Here actually we know that in countries like India, it is necessary that those poor people able to get loan. So here one initiative is that self-help group. Banks will help or not, we don't know. So here poor people help themselves. Those are SHG, self-help group. So about self-help groups we will discuss in the next video, and with the summarizing we will finish the chapter in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.